Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking some time to come here tonight. We had quite a bit of interest. Not sure where the others are right now. Hopefully they did receive my email and it didn't go into spam because I sent everyone that I had contact information. I sent them the Zoom link. But we will start here and we will continue to do better as we go along. This is the first meeting of the Gun Violence Prevention and Safety Committee of Alachua County. And I will tell you just a little bit about me. I am currently the vice president of the local league. And my true interest is in diversity and partnerships. So I work on those and voter services. That's where I started. I started with the league back in 2019. And then one day we were having a meeting, a board meeting, and I think the president asked who was attending the gun violence summit that the city was putting on, and that she would like someone there to represent the league. So I believe maybe a couple of people said they were thinking about attending, and I said, well, I'm going. I'm planning to attend. So I attended and it was very good. It was a 2-day summit, and it was very good. It was enlightening. There were policymakers there, so that was a good thing. I decided to write a report, and I wrote that report, and I gave it. I presented it at the next board meeting, and I thought that was it. Actually, I didn't realize that I was going to end up chairing the committee, but I'm okay with that because I think it's a very important initiative that we need to take. So that's how I ended up being the chair of this committee. So anyone else want to just tell us a little bit about themselves? And Barbara doesn't know us.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk later.
My name's Connie Nicklin. I'm the communications chair for League of Women Voters of Alachua County. And I just like to know what's going on in our league so I can help promote it.
She does a great job with that too.
Yeah. My name's Susie Hutta, and we've been in Gainesville for a couple of years, and I've been a member of the league during that time. And originally I joined the league in St. Petersburg, Florida. I was a member there for several years. I appreciate very much Gwendolyn's leadership on this. I think probably gun safety is something we're all very passionate about. But I was looking for a leader, and I'm glad that I found one. So we look forward, Barbara, to your presentation.
Oh, okay. Well, buckle up now. But did you want me to get started on mine?
Well, let me just say that I'm gonna say that tonight is supposed to be kind of just an opening and maybe a brainstorming session as to how we want to proceed. We definitely want to take some action, but we want to kind of gauge ourselves as to how we go about jumping into that and then build upon that. We want to see where everyone is right now. It's me and Suzanne as members here tonight, and then we're going to see what kind of action we want to take and where we want to go with it. Barbara, we released there was a press release, and as I said, and a report on what happened at that summit. And as a result, we came up with what our issues for action are. I presented what our issues for action would be. And it's to advocate to make gun violence prevention and gun safety a legislative priority, to review and support local policy initiatives of the city and county government that align with the league's position on gun violence prevention and gun safety. Attend future city and county meetings discussing gun violence and prevention, and attend future events that are put on by the city and county, and to share gun violence prevention events and initiatives on the league social media. Additionally, to distribute gun locks to the public at league events. As we have just gotten started, that is the thing that is the last one is the thing that we have definitely taken action on. I have been able to secure gun locks from the police chief of our community college and our state college, and he is also a member of the city commission. And I'm also able to secure gun locks from the VA, the veteran that police department. So we have access to the locks at this point. And what we have been doing, that it was decided at a board meeting that at every league event that we would have those locks available. So they're available through voter services has been doing a lot of tabling. And as a result, that's where the locks have been. We as a committee have not, as I said, this is our first meeting, so we haven't done anything yet, but that anything separate yet, but that's where we are. So we'll be looking to be involved in the community through what's already there and to take part in that. The city and the county have taken action when they held the summit to talk about what they wanted to see happen. They're supposed to reconvene either in January or February. So we would need to be there as well. But that's basically where we are. It's completely open as to what we should be, as to what we will do. And when we talked, when I saw your information, Barbara, that's what I said. Well, let me see what they're doing there in Broward County, and we were impressed with that. So I thought at our very first meeting we would have you come and talk to us about what you're doing in Broward, and at future meetings we'll have probably have a few speakers as well until we get where we want to go with the league. So for Connie and Suzanne, Barbara is an attorney and she's a gun safety advocate, and she's the co-chair of the Gun Violence Prevention Committee with Broward County. They have a program that was co-founded by Barbara. I believe it was co-founded. It's called Lock It Up. And so we invited her to come today to speak to us. And it's my understanding that over 30,000 free gun locks have been distributed in Broward County, I believe, since 2017. So, Barbara.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I joined the league in 2015, and I actually joined for gun safety because a friend of mine and I were very concerned about the fact that campus carry had been proposed, and we had children and nieces and nephews going to Florida colleges where it was extremely safe, but because guns were prohibited. So they were proposing campus carry and all kinds of crazy stuff, courthouse carry, open carry, every kind of carry. So I joined the league for that reason. And so what we did, as you know, as part of the league, was that we fought off, we would fight against bad legislation and we would support good legislation that was proposed. Of course, good legislation was never proposed or never got anywhere, but the bad legislation just kept popping up like whack-a-mole. So every time we defeat it, we pat ourselves on the back, and 6 months later it would be back again. And we thought, this is not very productive. So then here's something that there's a free publication called The Trace that I do recommend that everyone subscribe to. You can find it at thetrace.org, thetrace.org, and it's free investigative reporting on every gun issue in this country. And it's very, very good. And so, and in fact, some of their reporting has resulted in changes to laws and changes to policies. So it's been a great thing. And it's probably in The Trace that I saw an article about a pediatrician in Bozeman, Montana, who was giving away free gun locks. So I thought, well, that's what I want to do. So I called her and I asked her how she was doing it. And she said she was getting the gun locks from the VA. So we ended up connecting with our VA, Now, of course, you know, the Veterans Administration has a very big suicide prevention department because 16 veterans a day take their lives, you know, mostly with guns. And so they have lots of programs. Part of the program is they give away free gun locks. I mean, obviously they have mental health counseling, and, you know, they try to provide homes and all kinds of things. And actually the VA has just changed their program where even if you go there for your diabetes, they're going to ask you about whether you're depressed, whether you've had suicidal thoughts. So, because they said that may be your only contact with us is you come in for your diabetes. So everybody who has any contact in the medical system in the VA is asked about that. And I think that is a great improvement. I think every hospital should do that. Anyway, so we started this program. The VA was really gung-ho, and they gave us, I think when we started with 5,000 gun locks. And at that time, we had to drive to Miami in a caravan to schlep these things back. Of course, now I get them delivered. It's really great. That really started during the pandemic. They come to my house. But anyway, that's also because I'm a known partner for a long time. Anyway, so we started this program, and in the beginning, we decided our pitch was going to be we were there to protect children and teens because we figured nobody would push back. So we designed a RAC card, which is, it's backwards, but it says, don't let your child become a victim. It's got a kid's hand reaching for a gun. And then it says, ask for our free gun lock. And on the back, it's got facts about, you know, 4.6 million kids in America live in homes with unlocked guns. 8 children are unintentionally injured or killed by a gun every day. So it's got all these facts, and then it's got how to get a free gun lock, and our email and our phone number. So that's what we were doing in the beginning. And all of a sudden I'm choking. And then we realized that 65% of all gun deaths were suicides. And we thought, you know what? We should focus on that, because people who owned guns who were, you know, but didn't have kids would walk right by our table and say, well, that doesn't apply to me. But then we realized when we focused on suicide prevention that if it resonated with everyone. Everyone has been depressed, knows someone who's been depressed, knows someone who's had suicidal attempts or thoughts or whatever. So once we focused on suicide prevention, it kind of changed, you know, it changed our perspective, and it changed our reach. So so the 3 things we do is we table at every event we can possibly table at, right? I mean, health fairs, you know, community festivals like the Butterfly Festival or anywhere. We will table anywhere. And we will also go anywhere and talk about gun safety and give away free gun locks. So we count both of those as tabling, even though one, like I go to the Kiwanis Club and talk to them at a lunch. So we have tabled or given a presentation 1,003 times so far since we started. And I think I've done 900 of them. But anyway, I love it. So that's the one thing we do. The other thing is we partner with other organizations and we give them gun locks. So we partner with United Way, we partner with the Children's Services Council, the Kiwanis Club. We go to preschools. Preschools have actually been our best partner. We say to them, listen, guns are now the leading cause of death for children and teens. And when I started, it was the 3rd leading cause of death for children and teens. And when I started, gun deaths were 38,000 a year. Now they're 49,000 a year. So when I say to them, can I give you gun locks? Can I give you a sign? Can I give you RAC cards? And can I give you bumper stickers? We have bumper stickers that say it's easier to child-proof. I can't get this right. Anyway, child-proof your gun than to bulletproof your child. So we go to the preschools, we give them all that stuff. And believe me, they are really enthusiastic. So, I mean, we've partnered with churches and synagogues and Rotary clubs. And I mean, we'll speak anywhere. We go to HOAs, we go to, we partnered with hospitals, we partnered with doctors and lawyers, everybody, anyone who will take our RAC cards or our gun locks or our bumper stickers, we will partner with them. So we have given out 35,000 gun locks. We also give gun locks to the police. I mean, you're getting them from the police. We're giving them to the police. We partner with city commissions, and we've got our RAC cards in city park activity centers and libraries, and So we try to get our materials. Our goal is to educate everybody. And you know, whether the gun lock, I mean, the gun lock's a great way to get in the door, but it's really the education. And I got to tell you, the one thing of all the people we've talked to in the last whatever 7 years, if we say 65% of all gun deaths are suicides, they're like, no way. You're like, yeah, you know, you watch the news, it's all scary stuff. You run out and buy a gun, but the chance of you defending yourself with that gun are less than 1%. But the chance of someone getting hurt because that gun's in your house are very high. I mean, you're twice as likely to have a homicide, 3 times as likely to have a suicide, and 5 times as likely to have a fatality in a domestic violence if you have an unlocked gun in your house. So if I'm tabling, I've kind of broken it down into 3 things. If I'm tabling and a parent comes over and they have young kids, I will say, listen, anytime your kid goes anywhere, even a relative's house, you need to ask, is there a gun in the house? Is it locked up? Is the ammunition separate? And because I say not only will you save your own child's life, you will teach them to save their kids' lives. They will start asking that question. Give me 1 sec. Okay. Oh, so we have a shirt now, and it says it's a Lock It Up shirt. It's got our league logo. It's got a gun locked up. It says Lock It Up, and on the back is our tagline where it says protect children, prevent suicide, reduce crime, save a life, lock up your gun. Because the other thing, so we talk to parents about always asking if there's a gun in the house. I said, I don't care if it's a relative, I don't care if your kid's in middle school, you got to ask. Then, when it's anybody else, as a teenager, an older person, I say, listen, if someone is depressed or down in the dumps, it's okay to ask them, are you thinking of taking your life? And if they say yes, the first thing you do is get them safe. Don't get them help, get them safe. You say, let's get everything dangerous out of your house, because suicide is an impulsive decision. It's made in less than an hour and sometimes as little as 5 minutes. And it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Studies have shown that 9 out of 10 people who survive a suicide attempt never try again because it was just a crisis at the time. But, with a gun, it's 85% lethal, 85% of the time it's lethal. You're not going to get that second chance. The United States has 12 times the number of gun suicides as any other country. I mean, we have a problem because there's all these guns. Well, let's go back up a second. 54% of gun owners do not lock up their guns. And every new gun is sold with a gun lock. There's no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. So that, they all think they're going to be Rambo. And the truth is you're going to hurt someone in your house. And it not just, suicide or whatever. It's unintentional. Cleaning your gun, dropping your gun, whatever. I mean, it happens all the time. So we talk about suicide prevention. We go, listen, you got to, and 988 is the new helpline, mental health hotline. It's not 911, it's 988 for mental health crisis. So we say, get everything dangerous out of the house and then call, 988 and get them help. And the third thing that people just don't get, I mean, a gun is stolen every 90 seconds in this country. So 250,000 guns are stolen, and mostly from cars. And that's enough guns to cover every crime committed with a gun in this country in a year. So when people go, oh, bad guys are going to get their guns somewhere, I said, yeah, from you. That's where they're getting the guns. So if people, and you're not stealing those guns for their collection, they're stealing them to commit a crime. So you could reduce violent crime if you locked up your gun and encouraged everyone else to lock up their gun. So we model our program after Moms Against Drunk Driving, because it took them decades to get through people's skulls that drinking and driving was killing people. And when they first started, they were mocked and humiliated and scorned, and it was legal. And they go, we don't care what you say, we're not going to stop. And eventually, everyone got the message. You don't drink and drive. Friends don't let their friends drive drunk. So people come to me and they say, well, I don't own a gun. I say, you know what? I don't either, but I don't want to die in a hail of bullets. And if my neighbor is not locking up their gun, there goes my safety, right? So I want everyone to understand it's everyone's problem. It is absolutely everyone's problem. And you don't wait till it happens to someone you love for it to, for you to jump into action. And really, it's so simple to just be educated and spread some facts around about suicide prevention, protecting kids. The median age of children unintentionally shooting other children is 4. So that means half of them are under 4. And so when people go, oh, they'll never find it, they can't pick it up, they can't shoot it, wrong, wrong, and wrong. So now the number one killer of children and teens, and suicide is on the rise, and gun theft is on the rise. And it's just like, every day I say, I can't believe I have to wake up and tell people guns are dangerous. It's like surreal, but but we have partnered with so many groups. I mean, we have like 250 partners, literally. I mean, we just partner with everybody. We've the other thing we do for educate, our thing is education. So in September, it's Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and we really take advantage of that. So every September, we ask every city commission to issue a proclamation recognizing Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. We write the proclamation, so it's got all the facts in it about suicide prevention and guns and everything. And we ask for proclamation, and then we go to their meetings and accept it. They read it. So right there, they've educated people at the meeting. We bring gun locks, we bring bumper stickers, but we like really milk that cow. We go, okay, what else can we do? Can we write an article for your newsletter? Do you have any events coming up that we can be at? Do you want gun locks for you to have to give out to anyone who asks for one? I mean, can we leave bumper stickers somewhere? Can we leave rack cards somewhere? So we really try not to leave money on the table as far as if we have someone agreeing to go, go all in, we do it. So the other thing we do for Suicide Prevention Awareness Month is we write. We try to get legislators to post on social media about that it's Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, how to recognize depression, how to get people, safe. We ask the local police to do it. And we write articles, we write letters to the editor, everything in September for Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. But we also put on a webinar or a seminar this year. Unfortunately, somehow we got roped into doing both. But about 5 years ago, I looked around to see what was happening during September, and there is a walk out of the dark that the suicide awareness, suicide prevention, national organization does all over the country. So they have like a walk out of the darkness. But I didn't see anything that was educational to anywhere. So I thought, you know what, somebody's got to fill this gap. So we did a panel of experts, and our first one was in person, and we had cookies, and we had someone teaching a meditation exercise at the end, and it was really great. And then after that, of course, was the pandemic, and we went, virtual, which was good because we could record it, we could share it, and everything like that. So we make a big deal of September. That's our big thing. And then and all year round we table everywhere, and we give out gun locks everywhere. Like there's a group called Florida Rising, and they're like, can we have 200 gun locks? I said, sure. I mean, people in parking lot. I mean, people in like Miami Subs parking lots. Like give them gun locks. Wherever's in the middle, we meet. And I meet, I will get anyone anywhere, we'll get them stuff. Anyone's allowed to use our materials. We're perfect, we're very happy to share everything. So we have a test your knowledge quiz that we use, and the answers are on the back. We have a handout about suicide prevention, a handout about stolen guns, a handout about accidental shootings. I mean, we found that if we break it down, it's just, by topic, it's better. And then what I'm really excited about is other leagues like yours are starting their own programs. So Polk County is like on fire. They just want to catch up to us in like, a week. And I go, well, you know, we've been doing this a long time. So they've contacted preschools. They're partnering with their sheriff, which is amazing because it's a very red county and their sheriff is so on board, and he's making decals for them. He's made a PSA with them. He's done all kinds of stuff, and they designed a button, and it's a little orange button, and it says, "Ask me how I'm ending gun violence." And it's turned into a really great tool. So first I asked all our partners, like I asked our partners at the VA, would you like this button? Because, you know, if you wear the button, maybe someone will ask you, they're curious. So I've given VA 30 buttons. I gave the Mental Health Association 40 buttons. I gave Moms Demand Action, they're a big partner of ours. I gave them 30 buttons. And I think it's a great tool. And I'm if you all are willing, I found a really cheap place to buy them too. I will send you some buttons if you want, so you can wear them. And so I'm wearing my button the other day to the doctor's office of all things. And I mean, I'd never been to this doctor. So we have our appointment, and then he goes, "So, okay, tell me how you're ending gun violence." I said, "I'm really glad you asked that." So I told him, I said, 54% of gun owners don't lock up their guns, and 65% of gun deaths are suicides, and now it's the leading cause of death for children and teens. And if everyone would lock up their guns, we'd all be so much safer. And he said, "I didn't know any of that. I'm really, thank you for telling me all that." I mean, my goal is to educate 2 million people in this county. And so that's one. I've talked to a lot of people, but whenever I give a talk to any group, I always say, listen, there's 2 million people in this county and they all need to know these facts. I said, and I cannot talk to all of them. So I said, so I need all of you to be ambassadors for gun safety. I need you to take this message. I need you to take these handouts, and I need you to talk to people about gun safety. I said, the life you save may be your own. And I said, now listen, everybody who knows someone who has a gun that needs locking up, you come and get a gun lock. I said, now don't put it on your bike. If you put it on your bike, I will know. I said, I am psychically connected to these locks, and I will know if it's on your bike. So anyway, they all come up and it's amazing. They all come up and get a lock, and they all say, "It's for my brother. It's for my," I'm like, I believe you. Like, I don't think you're putting it on your bike. I was just joking. But anyway, they all come up like they really, when I say, I need you to be an ambassador for gun safety, they're just happy that they can do something. I mean, we all feel helpless. And it's like, it's really not, laws are good. Believe me, Massachusetts has the best gun laws in the country, and they have the fewest gun deaths of all kinds. It works. It totally works. But if you don't have gun laws, the next best thing you could do is educate people to lock up their dang guns, right? I said, I'm ready to get a tattoo on my forehead. This is lock up your dang. I mean, come on. So anyway, I wanted to tell you the good news is in the past year, gun suicides in Broward County have gone down 10%. So I like to think we contributed to that. God knows we are everywhere passing out gun locks and talking to people. So, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Everywhere else basically is going up. So the fact that we're going down, I think, means that, we're having an impact. And really, when I think about the fact that we've gone from 38,000 gun deaths to 49,000 gun deaths, I think this seems like trying to empty the ocean with a thimble while it's raining. I mean, it just seems so pointless. But then I say, if we save anybody, it's worth it. Anybody. So that is our story. You tell me how many buttons you want and where you want me to mail them, and I'll do that. We get our locks from the VA. We do raise money. We've raised money with a fundraiser, and I've applied for a couple of grants over the years, and we really, it really doesn't cost much to run this program. I say that because I paid for all the toner for all these handouts and all the paper. But we use the money to buy bumper stickers and pins and rack cards. And actually, we've had a couple groups print our rack cards for us and put their logo on it as well. So that's been helpful, like the Children's Services Council. And Broward County did it too. So sometimes you can get people to do that. It doesn't cost much to run this program. It just doesn't. Anyway, any questions? I'm very happy you guys are jumping in.
Thank you so much, Barbara. That's a lot of good information and a lot of things that we can look toward doing and working toward. But it helps me a lot just to hear what's being done and the kinds of things that possibly the league here can focus on. We would love for you to share anything and everything that you can with us, any kind of material, any of your the talks that you do. If there's anything that you can share with us, that would be great as well. And so and we're also looking to partner with Moms Demand Action. And a matter of fact, they want to they'll be attending probably our next meeting. And we're also gonna have our one of our city commissioners she is her name is Desmond Duncan Walker, and she's the person who actually started or came up with the idea of the summit. So we're gonna try to work with the city as well and just create as many partnerships, just like you said, because I do believe in partnerships and whatever we can do to do that. So Connie has a question.
I have two questions. One is, do you have Canva templates for your rat cards and items like that?
And JPEGs, I mean, I have shared them with other, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, share them with you.
Okay. And then I'd like to know if you have a secret for all the energy that you have.
I don't know. I just, it's funny. I always thought my perfect job would be where I could teach people things. I could do public speaking. I could be passionate about a cause. I forgot to mention that a paycheck would have been nice. So really, I got what I asked for. But yeah, I really just, I like talking to people, and I feel like I'm making, saving kids, saving lives. It makes me happy.
Your passion comes through.
Thank you. And someone asked me, like, how'd you get involved with, guns? Did you have something in your life? And at first I said no. And then I realized my sister was held up while she was working at a fast food restaurant in high school. My best friend was held up working at a different fast food restaurant, both with guns. My dad was shot at in front of our house. My dad had a gun. Do you think he had it on him when he was held up in broad daylight in front of our house? And he ran away, and the guy took a shot at him. My son's friend was shot just walking down the street. I don't, randomly got shot in the leg, and nobody knows what happened. It's like, and I have a friend who took her life with a gun, and I knew she was depressed, and I didn't know she had a gun. And so, we just like I don't know. I want to say it's like sexual harassment. We just take it for granted until one day we go, wait a minute, why is this normal? It's like, this isn't normal. This isn't acceptable. It's just something, you brought up thinking. I mean, people say, have you been a victim of gun violence? And I was like, no. And I'm like, yeah, I actually have. Right? I mean, any one of those things that happened to my family could have been fatal.
Exactly.
But my friend, I mean, I knew she was depressed. I didn't know she had a gun. I didn't know what I know now. And I wish I knew what to say, because she called me out of nowhere. And I mean, I tried to talk her off of, like, well, she was just upset about like everything in her life. And I was like, oh, it's going to get better, what I know. And it didn't get better. She took her life. But they found out that people who could take their lives, it's very impulsive. I mean, they could have been depressed for 10 years, but the decision is made in less than an hour. The average is 20 minutes, and sometimes as little as 5 minutes. So it's a very impulsive decision. And if there's a gun, it's very, and it's a simple thing that happens. And I mean, it's just, there's no taking it back. And I heard a story recently that just really curled my hair. A good friend of mine, she's 65, and her younger sister is like 60 years old, 62, I don't know. And their dad and the sisters like don't really get along, but they try to get along, but they really are very different people. And the dad always had guns. He was a hunter, but he always had a gun by the bedside. And the 60-year-old sister just told her older sister, you don't know how many times I walked into mom and dad's bedroom and looked at that gun and thought I could end it right now. If one of my sisters said that to me, it would be a knife in my heart. I mean, just because she didn't take her life doesn't mean that wasn't a dangerous thing. I mean, and I just, the generational trauma. I work with daycares and I preschools and I bring them gun locks and I get them on board and they're all gung ho and they're going to, talk to their parents. And I went to this one preschool and they said, well, we have a story to tell you. They said, years ago, there was a family with 2 little boys and they were expecting a baby. And the plan was when they went into labor, the mom went into labor, so they were going to drop the kids at the grandparents' house to babysit. So the mom went into labor early. And so they went and dropped the kids at the grandparents' house. And the grandfather, was not planned for that day or whatever. And the grandfather had all his guns out because I don't know why, cleaning them, admiring them, whatever the heck people do with all these stupid guns. And he wasn't home, but the grandmother was home. But I think before she could do anything, one of the brothers picked up a gun, one of the guns and shot his brother dead. So the whole family falls apart. The kid ends up in foster care. He ends up on drugs. Fast forward, he has his own kid, and now that kid is in foster care. I mean, the generational trauma, the trauma of this, for what? For what? You're going to protect yourself with your gun. You're so in love with your guns. You're going to endanger your family like that. These people are screwed up forever. I mean, this kid that's in foster care, how well is he going to do? It's just, and then I heard one that just curled my hair. This older lady, she must have been 70 years old. She said her dad was cleaning his gun and it went off and shot her pregnant mother. Her mother survived, the baby survived, and then the mom went on to get pregnant again with her, and she was born with bullet fragments in her body that are there today. Still there. I guess they had migrated to her mother's uterus.
Wow.
I mean, what the hell? What's wrong with people?
Wow.
What is wrong with people? I cannot. I don't even know. So anyway, I hear stories, but it's just so unnecessary. And the other thing, when people say, oh, domestic violence doesn't affect me, well, you know what? More than half of all mass shooters have a history of domestic violence. They go shoot their wife at her place of employment and they take everybody else out too. Or they go shoot her at her family's house and kill everybody else too. A lot of domestic violence is mass murder. And, so right now there's a Supreme Court case pending where the Supreme Court's going to decide whether, maybe domestic violence people should keep their guns, because the founding fathers never said anything about what kind of BS is that? I'm just like, But here's good news. The good news is that the ATF is changing the rules of who a gun dealer is. Okay. So right now, if you're a licensed gun dealer, you are required to run background checks on anyone buying a gun. However, there was a loophole you could drive a semi through where you could say, oh, I'm just a hobbyist. I only sell this amount of guns a year. So then you did not have to run background checks. And that's what the gun show loophole is about. That's what private sales about. And now the ATF is changing the rule. They're absolutely doing it. And they're changing the rule as to who a gun dealer is, so that they can catch, in the net, all these bozos selling guns without a background check. That is going to help a lot. It really is. But, there's just so much that could be done. You know what I just say? Look up Massachusetts gun laws and be Massachusetts. I mean, it's really not that hard. They've done it.
Yeah. So Barbara, you spoke about the that you work with preschools. Do you get any pushback from that, or how that was interesting to me? So how do you actually go about doing that?
Well, we just call them up. I just call them up and I say, Hi, I'm with the League of Women Voters, and we're doing a community gun safety program to protect kids because
Mhm.
guns are now the leading cause of death for children and teens. So what we do is we have some rack cards and we have some free gun locks, and we'd like to drop them off in case any of your families would need them. And would you like that? And they're like, sure.
So, okay, so you leave them at the preschool, and then if the parents want them, then they can take them from there. Okay.
Right. So we have what we do is we take our rack card and we put the
Mhm.
front and the back in a sign, and on the top it says "Ask here for your free gun lock," and then that way they know to ask, um, and then the preschool can give them the gun lock if they want it.
Okay. All
And on the
right.
back of the sign is my information so they can call and ask for more. But we're lucky in Broward because the VA says in Broward County, and maybe your VA will do it too. Anyone who emails the VA and asks for a free gun lock will get one mailed to their house. No questions asked. You don't have to be a veteran, but for us, it has to be in Broward for that, the Broward VA to do it. So I put that on my sign. That way, if there's a school with 100 kids, I might give them 20 locks. And on the sign, it says, ask for free gun lock here. And it also says, you can get a gun lock mailed to your house, for free by emailing gloria.lewis@va.gov. That way I don't have to leave 100 gun locks there. And then they can just, and maybe they don't want to ask, but they don't mind getting it mailed to their house. So
Okay.
that to me has been a really big help.
Okay. Suzanne, do you have any questions of Barbara?
No, not specific questions, but it's really given me a lot to think about and very encouraging,
Good.
which I don't use that word too often
I
in
know.
these
Well,
in these conversations.
yeah, that's what I love
Um,
about it is we're actually doing something. So here's something interesting. I got permission from a church to speak at their, like, at the end of their sermon, and I talked about suicide prevention mostly. And I spoke at two sermons. One was the main church, and one was the service with the families and the young kids. I guess that's a shorter one or whatever. And then they let me table out in the foyer. So I'm out there with my stuff, and this little boy, he was probably 6 years old, he came over and he said, "Can I have one?" And he pointed at the gun lock. And I said, "Oh, honey, these are for guns." He said, "I know, it's for my grandpa." And I was thinking, this poor kid's got to save his own damn life. I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, but a 6-year-old has more sense than his grandfather. And I thought, and he was one of the kids when I spoke. I just could, when he came over and asked for it, a lot of kids just ask for stuff because it's on the table and they think it's a toy.
Right.
This kid was like, "No, it's for my grandpa." I said, "Okay, honey, you got it."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that kid.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's interesting. So you've given us a lot of good information and some things that we can start to do here. I am recording, as you know, so we can share that with others. I wish there were others here to hear you in person and to ask any questions that they might have as we start our program out. But yeah, we want to follow, we want to work toward following in your footsteps. And the thing is, I have your phone number.
You
I
too.
have your email. So
If
so
anyone has questions, they can email me, call me. I am always ready to talk about gun safety.
okay, well, I'm gonna be reaching out to you as the person that will help me to get this program started out in a good place. So
Great. Would you, I don't know if you're interested, but if you are, maybe you could, there's a Zoom call that Polk County has every month. And I can ask them if they would mind if you sat in on theirs, because they are on fire, these people. And so that also could give you some ideas. They're the ones that came up with this pin that I love so much.
okay. Yeah, I
So
would love that. Please find out if I
I'll
can
make a
attend.
note, Polk County, and then I'll follow up with you on everything. And then, I can send you some buttons and some bumper stickers. I mean, not a million, but I can send you some.
Well, that would be great. And I'll I'll text you or email you my contact information so that you can get that to us. So like I said, anything that you can share with us, we would be very appreciative of that. And because we want to get the ball rolling
Sure.
and I feel good that the city and county have started the effort, and we're gonna hold them to that. I like the proclamation ideas and so forth, just doing things, anything to get the word out. And I definitely love what you said about, you might not be able to save the world, but you can save one person. And that's, I believe in that in anything that I do. If you when I'm talking to someone, if I touch one person, I think that I call it successful. A
Right.
lot of people say, well, we only talked to 10 people. Well, that's 10 more people than we would have talked to about whatever the issue is. I like that idea as well.
You
And
know,
as
one
I
of the
said, we're already sending out our gun locks at the table and events that's happening, but that's just the initial thing that we
Yeah,
plan.
I wanted to say something about these bumper stickers. So when I first got the bumper stickers, I thought, you know what? Nobody's going to put a bumper sticker in their car. People don't do that anymore. Besides, they don't want to get shot in a road rage by these psychopaths. Then it turned out that kids were putting them on their laptops. And I had like karate schools that would put stacks of them on their counter. And the truth is, even if nobody ever takes one, everyone has read it. It's like a
That's right.
billboard. You cannot
Mhm.
help it. And that's all I care about is read it. You know what I mean? So one time I was at an event and there was a karate school next to me. And as I was leaving, I said, "Oh, will you put these on your counter?" And they said, "You bet we will." And I thought, "Oh yeah, I just reached, a zillion more people just by giving these bumper stickers to this karate school." So, and it was just an offhand thing. I just said, "Oh, you want some?" And they're like, "Yeah, give us one."
Yeah,
So I mean, to me, it's like any way you can get the word out is great.
exactly.
The other thing, I don't get a lot of feedback as to whether the message is actually getting anywhere, but one time I did. So we did a panel, our first live panel, for Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and one of the people on the panel was a veteran who worked with elderly people and veterans trying to prevent suicide. So he was really popular on the panel because he had personal stories to tell, and he was really the rest of us didn't. So anyway, afterwards, about 6 months later, his name was Thomas Thompson, and he said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you that after I sat on your panel, I changed the way I do things." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, when I've been working with a depressed person, what I would normally do is get them help first, and now I get the gun out of the house first." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was a big thing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And this is a guy who does it for a living, but he changed his ways after he heard us talk.
So, so one of the things that I did along with another leaguer and another organization, we collaborated and we went around to all the churches last year, most of the Black churches, to talk about voting and voter registration and voter education and so forth. And they were very receptive to that. I think they would be the same way about talking about gun safety as well. And I happen to be the social action
Oh, cool.
ministry leadership person for my church. So he lets me speak all the time at the end of service. So I think that will be something that'll go over well also. So thank you for that. But thank you for all the information that you provided. And whatever you can, we're not turning down anything because we're trying to move forward in a positive way. And I'm so glad Connie is here because Connie keeps us on point with everything from the social media technology standpoint. So that helps a lot to have that support. And I'm certainly glad for Suzanne. Suzanne said from the beginning when she first saw the article, she said she wanted to be a part of the of this. And I think we also have others, but for some, we're not here. But we're gonna get it done regardless. And
And this test your knowledge thing is so good. And sometimes when we partner with a church or another group, I'll say, "Hey, will you put this on your website?"
Yeah.
And they say, sure. You know what I mean? It's just
Good idea.
whatever we can do to get the word anywhere. It's like, that's what we do. And
Yeah.
also, I meant to mention that our red cards for the victim cards, they're in English, Spanish, and Creole. We got them translated by the Children's Services Council, so I know they're correct.
Right.
Because they have
All
professional
right.
translators. So that
Yeah.
is, I do have all of those. And that's what I think Polk County is using ours to, yeah. So
Yeah.
you know, that's the thing is like, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. The other thing we did, I didn't do it with the league, but we did it with United Way, was the gun shop project, where I think I sent you that, our United Way rack card. I'll look at what I sent you. But with the United Way, we came up with a rack card about, you know, is someone you love depressed, whatever, and it talks about getting guns out of the house. And so what we did was we approached all the gun shops and all the target ranges and said to them, listen, 65% of all gun deaths are suicides. We want to put some educational materials in, and 50% of the gun shop said, okay, we didn't know that, we don't want our people to die. And they were all on board. So
Okay.
that's another approach. And then we got the tri-rail to put our postcard, our United Way cards in the stations, and we made posters and put them on all the trains. The libraries let us put them in there. I mean, we, you know, so it was just a different way to spread the word through the United Way. And then luckily they were paying for it. So I was pretty excited about that.
Well,
Because it
very
does
good.
cost money to print stuff.
Yeah. And then, as you said, the more we educate, the better. That's all. It's all about getting the word out. So whenever, wherever, and whenever we can get that word out. So we thank you, and we're going to brainstorm and figure out where to go from here, and just to get, as I said, to get everything off the ground and just start our program here. We are lucky that we have two entities that are willing to give us gun locks at this time, and the chief at Santa Fe at the college said, you know, I drive around, they're in my car all the time. Whenever I see you, I just give you a box of them, and the same thing goes with the VA. So we're doing well with that. So thank you so much for attending tonight. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for
Appreciate it.
having me.
Yes.
I'm really honored to be at your inaugural meeting. And, and anything I can do to help, and then I'll follow up later and send you stuff, and we'll figure that out.
Okay. All
Well,
right.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go, but you guys can keep talking.
All right. Thank you so much, Barbara. Be in
Thank
touch
you.
soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. She is really excited about what she does. I think she could have kept talking.
She would have.
She would have just gone
Mhm.
on and on, but
Mhm.
that is very good information. So my thought is that we take in what she said, and we think about how we want to move forward, aside from the fact that we're putting the gun locks out there. I mean, all the things she said are not hard things to do. We just, I still sometimes have to try to figure out exactly what the protocol is in the league. And I know they probably differ from league to league, and what kind of things we can do and that kind of thing. I mean, so what we will come up with with a potential list of things that we want to pursue. Is that a good idea? And then just kind of present that's what we're going to do. My thought was that as I mentioned a little earlier, was to have Commissioner Desmond Duncan Walker to come and speak to our group as well, and what she thought we could do as a league with the city, because she is the commissioner that actually presented the idea of having the summit. I partnered with Moms Demand Action in my sorority and another sorority, and we did a resource fair called Peace in Action in March. So it went over very, very well. We had like over 100 attendees, and we had gun locks at that event. So that's something that we could possibly look at, aside from just anybody that wants us to speak on, after we gather all our information and know our stats and all, it can
Yes.
just roll off like Barbara. then we can actually talk about what we know, and go out and do that as well. But so to have Commissioner Duncan Walker, and also to have moms, because we had I believe she said she was a legislative lobbyist that wanted to come and speak to us, because she was excited that the league was taking on this initiative as well. So I'm thinking probably, one at a time, not because I believe they all will have a lot to say, and that will just, we can, roll into this by listening and seeing what's out there and what needs to be done, and then plan. We don't have to just dive in real quick. I mean, things are being done. We're taking action right now by even talking about it. So the fact that we're giving out the locks already, and then as we determine what else we want to do, I would ask that, maybe after you heard tonight, or whatever ideas you have, kind of jot them down and send them back to me, and we kind of work from there. And I will share the information in the best way I can with the others that indicated that they were interested, because we had quite a few people that said that. It was I was thinking that this screen was going to be full tonight. So
I'm guessing it's the holidays.
it may be the holidays. Yeah.
That people have been, overrun with to-do things.
But nobody responded and said anything. They didn't say, because I told them at the beginning that it was going to be on the 12th. And I said, I'll get you the Zoom link. So I'm guessing it's the holidays, and it may be also that, sometimes your email gets stuck in spam and that kind of thing. But now that we've had this meeting, I know that from now on, the link will be, if I make sure that Connie has the link before the meeting, it'll be already out there. So I know that's helpful as well. Yeah. And but because I was trying to catch up by looking back at who said they were interested, and then sending them the link to this. But I think we'll continue. Our first phase will be just listening and learning, and continuing, as I said, with the locks that we're already doing. That's already already an initiative, and then we'll just continue to learn and then dive into what we need to do as a committee. Does that sound?
It does.
Good? Okay.
That sounds like a very good plan.
Okay.
I like the part about learning.
Yes.
First, I like that.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of hearing from other organizations, because we can find out what's already being done in our area. And so we're not duplicating efforts or accidentally running into somebody that's already doing that.
Right. And so it creates partnerships. So we can just help them out. And like I said, it's not, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
You just add to it and cover more people. And that's why I believe in collaboration, because sometimes when you work, well, not sometimes, when you work in silos, you reach a certain amount of people. But when you work in collaboration with other groups, then you're going to reach a larger amount of people. And that's what it's all about. It's all about the education and the advocacy. And we'll start to get into advocacy later on as well. But we'll just work toward learning and listening and learning.
And Gwendolyn, thank you. I know just from being on the margins, I realize that you are a person who's very busy and is very much advocating for other things at the same time. And I appreciate your stepping up and leading very much.
Thank you. And I
second that.
You. Thank you. And I appreciate you all's willingness to be right here and help out with all of that. And then, so we're gonna make an impact. We're gonna do something. So thank you all for being here tonight. And as I said, please, any ideas that you might have, please let's jot them down so we can start to talk about them. And next month, I gotta figure out, is this a good night for you all to do this? Does this work? What is this, Tuesday nights?
Let me look at the
Mm.
calendar to see if there's any other routine. So normally OCAMIC would be meeting on the second Tuesday of each month.
Okay,
So it might conflict with that in the future.
okay. What about the third Tuesday?
Let me look and see. I do not see anything on the third Tuesday.
Okay,
And the fourth Tuesday is the board meeting.
yeah.
So.
What's the third Tuesday in January is, because I know January is already very busy.
I have the 16th,
Okay,
third Tuesday.
okay, okay. Let's shoot for that for our next meeting.
Okay.
And hopefully that can become our regular meeting, our regular monthly meeting. 6:30? And
Sounds
okay, and who do you think I should invite first? The moms or the commissioner? Whichever one I can get, maybe.
Maybe whoever's available at that time slot.
Yeah.
I wonder, I mean, if moms is having a lobbyist, she might be gearing up for the legislative session. So she might be a little busy, or I don't know the commission schedule, but I know the legislative session is early this year because it's an election year.
Well, she was eager to come tonight, but I told her to let us get started first, and then we'll start to invite, partners or whatever. So
yeah,
she wanted to
so
see
maybe
what we were doing.
Start with her and see if she's available.
I will,
since she's so eager to join us.
I sure will.
Take advantage of that.
Matter of fact, she was going to bring a couple of people with her, a couple of moms. So hopefully we get the word out enough, and then that the rest of our committee will be here as well, and we can push that. So we have a date, and we're ready to start learning. And I will contact Barbara and get any and everything that she's willing to share with us, and go from there.
Great.
All right. Thank you all, and you all have a good evening. All right.
Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Connie, too.
All right. You all take care. Bye-bye.